Hey there, are you thinking about buying a home? Well, whether it's your first time and you're not familiar with the process or it's your third time and you forgot the process, don't worry, I got you covered. I'm going to break it down in 10 simple steps so that there's no surprises. Let's dive into it right now. Hey, I'm Jason Brown, real estate agent here in Metro Detroit, Michigan with Keller Williams out of Royal Oak, Michigan. And I want to help you with the 10 steps to buying a new home. Okay, so step one in the process is you want to find a real estate agent. And no, I'm not just saying that because I'm a real estate agent, but when we go through steps 2 through 10, you'll see that it'll be easier to get through those steps if you have a real estate agent. Plus, you want to have someone representing you that knows the industry, that knows the game, that also has the negotiation strategies and can walk you through what to look for and be there for you as a team player and as a coach and as an advocate for you as we go through this process of purchasing a home. Plus, let me tell you a little secret. You ready? Come here. Using a real estate agent as a buyer doesn't cost you any money. It's likely that the house that you're looking at has already have commission baked in for the seller's agent as well as your buyer's agent. So it doesn't cost you anything to work with the agent. So you want that expertise on your side. Step 2, you want to determine how much house you can afford or how much house you're willing to pay for. You see, you may be able to afford technically a $300,000 house, for example, but the reality is you may only want to pay for a $200,000 house based on your budget, based on your car, based on your financial lifestyle, and based on what's comfortable to you. So you want to determine how much house you can either afford or how much house you want to quote unquote pay for, even if you can afford more than that, so that you don't start looking at houses that will put you in a strenuous financial situation. In step number 3, you're either going to get pre-qualified or you're going to get pre-approved. Now let's talk about the difference between the two and why might you do one over the other. So first, let's talk about pre-qualified. Pre-qualified, once you're connected with your realtor and your realtor connects you with the loan agent, your loan agent's going to ask you some questions like how much income do you make, what's your debt to income ratio, or what is your, perceived financial situation. And based on what you tell the loan officer, so keep in mind, your realtor doesn't necessarily get this information. This is between you and the loan officer who the realtor referred you to. But based on the information that you share with the loan officer is going to say, you should qualify for this type of mortgage. You should qualify for this type of percentage. There's no credit report pull. There's no document submitted. It's just you sharing with the loan officer what your current financial situation is, and the loan officer sharing back what they believe you'll be able to get approved for. Now, on the approval side, this is where the loan officer is going to say, submit your W-2, your 1099, whatever, your last tax statements for the previous year, whatever information you have to prove your income. This is also where your credit report is going to get pulled so that they can verify your debt to income ratio as well as your credit score. So the biggest difference between the two is that pre-qualified, you're just verbalizing what numbers you have and what you expect to be able to prove when you come over here to the pre-approval side. You're gonna have to prove it, submit documents, pull your credit, and then you can actually get approved. Now, when it comes to purchasing a home, you want to be pre-approved if you're a serious buyer. If you're just curious and you're kicking the rocks and you're just like, what might I get approved for? You want to get pre-qualified. But the reason you want to get pre-approved if you're a serious buyer is because if you go out with your realtor and you look at a house and you say, we finally found it, I love it, which happens all the time, right? You don't think you're going to find a house for 2 months and boom, the first one you see, you love it, you want to submit an offer. Well, you can't submit an offer, or at least I should say, no seller is going to take your offer serious if it's just a pre-qualification, not a pre-approval. Because if the seller has 3 different offers, they can have a cash offer, they can have an offer for somebody who's pre-approved, which means that person has submitted their documents, had their credit pulled, and their loan officer says, yes, this is what they're approved for. And then there's you with a pre-qualification. you don't have cash, and you haven't submitted your documents or had your credit pulled to confirm that you can purchase the home, who do you think that seller is going to go with? They're either going to go with a cash offer or an offer that is pre-approved. So you want to get pre-approved if you're a serious buyer, because once you see a house, you want to make sure you can submit a competitive offer. And competitive is not always about price. Competitiveness can be about ability to buy, and that ability is backed up by that pre-approval letter. Okay, step 4 is the consultation. So when you meet with your real estate agent or someone like myself who's your agent, we want to sit down and consult with you and say, okay, what is your motivation for wanting to buy? Is it you looking for an investment property? Are you looking to get a great deal on a house? Or are you looking to move because of a job? Are you looking to buy a house because of your family's expanding? Whatever the case may be, we want to find out what your motivation is during that consultation process. We also want to find out how much house you plan to afford, you plan to pay for, just so that we have an idea and we're not looking for houses that are way outside of the range, right? How many bedrooms do you need? How many bathrooms do you need? If you need a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, we don't want to be looking at 1-bedroom studios because it's located off the water or they have a swimming pool. So that's why we want to have a consultation so that we understand your needs as agents. Now, step number 5 is strategy. Now that we know what you're looking for, you're connected with a loan officer, you're pre-approved, pre-qualified, we've done a consultation. Now we want to talk about the strategy. Strategy is a little bit different than consultation. In strategy, we're going to talk about what's our game plan here. How many houses do we actually want to see per week? What's our communication strategy going to be? Because it's likely that your agent's going to be working not only with you, but maybe with other people, or maybe you're working with someone like me who is part of a team, and there may be other team players that say, hey, this person shows you the house, this person lists the houses, this person does all the paperwork. And so you may be working with multiple people on the team. So it's important to sit down and discuss the strategy and say, this is how it's going to flow. Maybe you work from 9 to 5. And so we understand that we're going to be seeing houses up front on the weekend and after 5 o'clock. We want to make sure we get our strategy together and discuss all of those things so that no one is frustrated throughout the process. Step number 6, now the fun starts, right? Well, it's all fun, but now you get to start searching for houses. And maybe you've already started searching for houses, but this is where you and I, or you and your agent, will start to search for houses together. We'll put together a custom search for you based on the criteria, based on the game plan, based on the consultation, based on the financial numbers that you want to spend for a house and all the requirements you're looking for, from bedrooms, bathrooms, all the way to neighborhoods. This is where the search starts to happen, and you start to get searches sent to you by email, and we start to go out and look at houses, or your agent starts to go out and preview houses on your behalf if you can't see them because you're at work throughout the day, or you live out of town and they're trying to find the best house in the neighborhoods that you selected. This is just where all the searching and all the looking and viewing houses starts to really get going and get that engine and juices flowing for us to find you a home. Step number 7, all right, we've been searching, we've been going out, we've been looking at houses, you found one that you like, you're ready to make an offer. So step number 7 is we're gonna make an offer. You're already pre-qualified, so it's just gonna take some signatures, some paperwork, and some terms and conditions that you might want with the house, and bada boom, bada bing, we're going to send that off to the other agent, and we're going to submit that offer and say, this is what we're willing to pay. And also, these are our terms, or how long we're going to allow you to stay in the house after closing, and all those other good things that you and your agent should be working through. Okay, we submitted an offer, and assuming that the offer got accepted, we're going to go to step number 8, and that is scheduling an inspection and an appraisal. Okay, if you're not familiar with those, let me break them down. First, an inspection is just to make sure that the house is in the condition that you believe it is in, right? You're not a carpenter, you're not a roofer, you're not a window person, maybe. And so the inspector is going to check all that out. He's going to let you know the roof is good. It's got about 5 years or 10 years or 20 years left. Hot water tanks, not so good. It may need to be replaced soon because it's this years old and they usually only last so many years. Inspector's going to do all of that for you. Now, the appraisal, you may or may not have an appraisal depending on if it's a cash deal and you're like, I don't care what the appraisers say, this is what I'm willing to pay for it, I want to move in this area. But if you are getting a loan from a bank is going to want to make sure if we're loaning you, let's just say $250,000, we want this house to appraise at or above that $250,000. Now, they do have some wiggle room. I believe it's somewhere around, I don't want to say a percentage because I'm not an appraiser, but they have some wiggle room, right? If the house is 250 and it comes back appraised at 248,000, it's likely that your bank will say, we'll bump it up to 250. But if it comes back way off, like 240 or 230, you may have to come up with extra cash to bridge that gap to cover what they're willing to loan you and what that person is willing to accept for the house, if that makes sense. Okay, so step number 9, we talked about it just a little bit at the end of step number 8, and that is we may have to re-strategize or renegotiate, depending on how the inspection comes back. If something isn't in proper working condition, or if something you believe is a deal breaker unless you get a different price, we might have to renegotiate. Or if the appraisal doesn't come back favorably, we might have to re-strategize and say, let's see if they're willing to lower their price, or let's see, are you willing to come up and make up the difference in cash, whatever the case may be. So we may have to renegotiate, we may have to re-strategize, or we may not have to do anything at all if everything comes back 10AQ5. Assuming everything came back fine, or we renegotiated and now everybody's ready to go. Step number 10 is closing. So at this point, we're going to order title work and we're going to be waiting to make sure that that person is clear to even sell the house. We're going to be working with the title company and the mortgage company to get the final numbers that should be due on the final day, from gas, electric, water bill, if it's a condo, the association fees, down to the penny, what you should be paying for that house, down to the penny what that other person will be getting back from selling that house, and if they owe anybody, who's going to get their checks cut and their mortgage company. All those things are going to be scheduled so that the title company can work out those numbers. And then we're going to pick a date that we can close, and at that closing, that's where all the paperwork is going to be signed. And congratulations, you are a new home owner. You just bought a house. The only thing that's left to do is get the keys. Now, depending on if the seller needs occupancy, say they're going to say, I need to stay here 10 days after we close so that we can move all our stuff out and move it into the new house, we may have to wait before you actually get the keys. But without anything else going on, you'll pretty much get the keys, and congratulations, boom, you did it. Or should I say, we did it if we're working together. You just purchased your new home. Congratulations. So I hope this video has been helpful. I'm Jason Brown with Real Estate Agent again, and I'm out of Keller Williams, Royal Oak, Michigan. I serve the Metro Detroit, Greater Suburban, and Detroit area. If I can help you, I'd love to be of service for you. My contact information is going to be down below. And if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Turn on the bell notifications and hit the subscribe button, and hopefully I get to work with you. And if I don't, I hope whoever you get to work with, you understand the process a little better now.